So we talked about John Stewart on the way over here, and our family, that was great granny who was a Stewart before she married into Hasses, and their story of how they sought refuge here at Fort Dobbs. So I didn't record it here because I'm going to write that story for the newspaper later. Isn't that cool? Let's go see Fort Dobbs. We gotta go when the stations are numbered.
Soldier's gonna cradle the weapon, open up that steel pan, and take out a cartridge. Now we want to rip the paper open, powder into that pan. We're gonna shut the steel lid so we can strike sparks in a few minutes. We're gonna cast the musket about, pour the rest of the gunpowder into the muzzle, and then insert the cartridge with the ball still wrapped up inside. Now the fact that it's wrapped in paper means that round bullet is somewhat snug in the barrel. If I aim downhill, it's not gonna roll out the other end. But it also means that right now it's stuck right here. I want the bullet to be way down here when the explosion happens so it gets the most force. So does anybody know how I can move the bullet?
Yeah, pull that up.
Yeah. What do you call it? Some type of rod. Jamming rod, you're close. It's for ramming actually. So it's a ram rod, yep. So you're going to use that to force that bullet, or jam it, right down the barrel. You want to put this back because you need it every single time you fire. You don't want to lose it. Given all the steps that are required. So this weapon is loaded. I should probably shoot it for you.
What? Yeah.
What I want you to do is stay right here because you're a great target. I'd like you to put your hands over your ears.
Put your hands over your ears. Put your hands over your ears. Hands over your ears. Cool.
Look at the paper.
So something crucial to know is Fort Dobbs was for the French and Indian War. It's the southernmost French and Indian War fort. They're rebuilding the block house from the main part of the fort right here. Well, it's really a log house, but anyways, they're rebuilding it here. Now we're going over here to hear the next part.
Experience of a soldier, experience of a soldier, marching around, camping, having to go campaign. Basically, I would carry everything on the ground. So everything that you see here, the items that soldiers did for
So guys, what do you think's going on right here?
No, it looks like they're building more on.
Did they have those kinds of cranes in the French and Indian War?
Yeah.
No, they didn't have those in the French and Indian War.
It didn't even have plastic.
No, but you know what they did? They built a fortification that was like this right here. It was a log house, and you see how there's this kind of lower area? That lower area, most of that's been there my whole life that I can remember. It's all you could see of the fort. And then the middle of it was the block house, or the log house. And that log house fortification is what people actually were in for protection. So it's a different kind of fort than most of the forts you saw with the logs stuck up in the air around it.
Is that stuff right there, that big block thing, furnaces for like one level and then the other level?
That's right. Those are that's a chimney, and it's got a fireplace on 2 levels. And so this is based on the best, not drawings, but descriptions that people gave from that time period. We don't have actual drawings, and so they rendered it, and they're building it back here now. Isn't that cool? This will be really nice. So there's all the stuff you're talking about close up.
Boiling hot water like that will help the heat away the mites and all those other little creepy crawly things that will like to live with human beings. And even though you can be a very clean person and you can still have those things, but keeping your laundry and what you're washing, or most of what you're washing, are your under stuff that touches your skin, your shifts, stockings, caps as well, and aprons, because this
sell to one company, so about 80 to 100 soldiers. What I want to do is supplement what they're able to get. So usually their ration is salt pork, hard bread, beans, a little bit of coffee, but I want to supplement that with fresh produce, fresh baked bread, with additional coffee, tea, spices, and other necessities, things like soap, needles, pens.
So right now we've got chickens straight up. We've got a little struck. They'll spin a rotisserie that way. We've got a foot truck.
Long time for you working. It's at 9 and you're staying up late.
Chicken in there with spices. I'll show you in just a second what she's doing.
Wow. So cool.
Turn a spigot. You get hot water right away. We don't have that here. We've got to heat the water for cooking and cleaning over a fire. And here you've got
It's the oven.
These are rotisserie as we keep them
Oh,
going.
that's cool.
Like you ever get on a swing? Wrap your
So right over there is where they bake the bread. Remember, that's the mud oven. Then out in these woods, do you know what used to happen out in these woods when Poppy was a kid?
Fighting?
No.
What?
Right out in those woods right there, we used to have Boy Scout summer camp. My Boy Scout summer camp and Cub Scouts were right out in those woods. We had all the way through the woods back here in Fort Dobbs.
Trail.
Yep, we used to go down those trails, and down in the trails were my classes. My classes were always in the woods. So Anna, what's your favorite thing so far?
I don't know.
I mean, what's interesting? What's interesting to you?
I really like the cooking in the grocery store over there.
Yeah, the cooking in the grocery
petite.
store.
What was it again? The petite
Hold on.
Was it a cooking sale?
solar?
Nope.
We'll have to look
My
it up.
favorite one was the musket.
The musket was cool. Malcolm, what was your favorite so far?
Meatballs.
Cooking the
Okay,
chicken.
cooking the chicken. There you go. Another better view of the building site that they're currently working on.
feel it? Okay, yeah. Anybody else? You're gonna get there. You got centuries how they would have done.
Oh wow.
So what I've done is, it is messy. Yes, it is. I'm not gonna say it isn't.
He doesn't look messy at all.
No, I
does
don't look
he?
messy at all, do I? Yeah, I have my little patina here, I guess. Of course, if you're from this area, you know what this is called. It's called red clay. It's in the carpet, it's in the house, it's in the car, it's wherever else. It's on our clothes. Exactly. Blue. Yellow. What shade? Exactly. In proportions, you add certain proportions to get different shades of green. It's the sky's the limit when it comes to messing with colors in the 18th.
Looks cool. We'll have to see what it is.
What do you think it is?
What do you think it is, guys?
Ice on
Listen, listen.
Who knows what it is?
Do you know what it is?
A yolk.
It is.
Yo.
And a yolk is a... Well, you could put a yolk on an ox. The yoke is something that fits over shoulders for dealing with a load. So you can have a yoke for an oxen, or you can have a yoke for people.
Boy,
What?
why am I carrying you?
I love my toys and I love you.
That works.
In nice weather like this, of course you can't do it in the rain. Now then, this is what the cartridge looks like on the inside. I cut it open so you can see the inside. There's the lead musket ball at the bottom. It's been cut in half along the gills. And there's the gunpowder on top. It's wrapped up in a paper tube like that. That's
show you about the soldiers in the cartridge box. This is what one looks like. It's a block of wood. There's some holes drilled into it. You place one of those cartridges in each one of the holes, and then you cover it up with leather, 2 layers, because we don't want any sparks on the battlefield to burn through the cartridge boxes and set one of them off, because if one of these explodes, they all explode.
Oh, but that would be bad.
So that's unhealthy, right? Paper from the 1766 talked about the repeal of the Stamp Act. You might think that's a long time ago. In fact, that's about 10 years off in the future.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's news today. We're going to use a piece of paper cut in the shape of a trapezoid, an odd-shaped paper with 2 and only 2 parallel sides. Now, begin by taking the stick and roll the paper up around the stick like that and keep it nice
Straight.
and tight.
Just straight. Okay.
All right, now stop right there for a moment.
Yes, sir.
The soldier's got a problem, you see, because when he makes this paper tube, he's got a heavy lead musket ball that wants to tear through the paper. So he's got to have a paper tube that's very sturdy on that end. This end with the gunpowder end, he has to bite off, and he wants it to be very flimsy. Now, how do you make a paper tube that's sturdy on one end and flimsy on the other? You make it in a trapezoid. This has got all. This is the gunpowder end here. That's all the wraps it's going to get.
Wow.
This is the end where the ball is going to go, and you can see it's going to get another layer.
Brilliant. It's brilliant.
So continue rolling that up then, and then I want you to hold the stick firmly in the middle with the string end pointed down.
String end pointed down. Okay.
Very good. Now with your free hand, I want you to pinch the paper on top of the stick and turn that around about 1 full turn to form a little fishtail like that.
1 turn.
And about 1 turn. You need to have a nice narrow little waist, all right, very good. Now then, continue to hold that with one hand vertically like that.
this.
Like go. Okay. Slide your hand down about 1 inch or so. Very good. Now the next step would be for you to put the stick in your teeth, and that'll free up your hands to tie this knot. And the purpose of the knot, of course, is to keep the musket balls from falling out. I'll tie the knot for you because you're probably not very interested in bringing a stick in your mouth, right?
I could do it if you told me to.
Yeah. In the 18th century, that's not a problem because germs haven't been invented yet. So in the 18th century, if you're sick, it's not because you have germs, it's because you have an imbalance in the 4 humors or fluids of the body. Typically, you have too much blood. If you take some of your blood out, you will feel better. Now, if we take some of your blood out and you do not feel better, then we have not taken out enough blood and we'll continue bleeding you until you get better or don't. And it works one way or the other every time. And it works on animals just as well as it does on people. If your horse is sick, we'll bleed your horse. All right, now we don't need to bleed anybody today because you're in perfect health. And the more I talk about this with this dirty old knife, the healthier you feel, right?
I feel great.
Yeah. So we do have to cut the string. Now, pocket knives haven't changed much over the centuries. The mechanism is exactly the same as they would have in the 21st century. A little spring on there that comes back out to hold it into place. This is perhaps a little bigger blade than you're used to seeing. It's because this is a soldier's knife that's designed to take a lot of abuse and not break, so we make it wide and thick. Now, slide the paper off the stick, and you can show them the little tube that you have formed there.
Good job.
Now, this is an intelligence test. I'm going to hand him a musket ball. He has to put this in the paper tube, see if you can figure out which end it goes in.
I'm feeling like this side.
Yes. Now you're ready for the gunpowder. You don't smoke, do you?
Not much. No,
Good.
I'm just kidding. I don't.
Don't smoke when you're carrying gunpowder because we find it's unhealthy. Now, like Cinderella's coach that turns into a pumpkin at midnight, as soon as you step away from my table, you will find that your lead musket ball turns into a glass marble, and your gunpowder turns into water filtration charcoal. This would be quite safe when you get it back. But this is what the gunpowder looks like.
Wow.
To make that explosive, you would simply take that charcoal and you would add sulfur and saltpeter to it. It does not change the appearance.
Wow.
Now, to finish your cartridge, you kind of mush the paper in like that and twist it around a few times to seal the end. That end is not tied because, again, that's the end that you have to bite off, and you want to leave that loose and easy.
Got it.
And that's your finished cartridge, and that's yours to keep.
Oh, yay! You hold on to it,
Give
sweetie.
Puppy a big clap.
Just don't smoke and don't drop it in a campfire.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
A lot of stuff you get in the woods.
Wow. Isn't that cool,
You
guys?
found all this in the woods?
Yeah, you would make. You'd have to make
You know
all
what
your
kind
stuff.
of animal this is?
What kind of animal's that?
No,
Deer?
no. It's like a deer, but it's a big deer.
The big
Really big deer.
What's it called?
What's it called?
Big deer.
Starts with an E.
A big deer. I would like for
No.
Elk.
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 I
Right.
would like for right here.
You know what this one is?
Ooh, what's that one?
Raccoon?
No. Do you see
This
a
one lives in the
striped
water, and it eats fish.
Otter.
Otter, right.
Oh.
Wow,
This one lives in the water and eats wood.
Beaver.
Right.
Beaver.
Now we're doing it.
What's that? Now we
Guess.
Coyote? Deer.
Deer.
That's so cool. So Malachi, back up. So this unknown gravesite has been here all my life that I've known of, and it just had a field stone marker right there. And so Anna and Lydia were just mentioning it could be one of our ancestors, and it actually could be because we're not sure where Thomas Stewart, the great uncle that died attacked by Cherokees, or his son are buried. They think they're buried in Morrison Farm, but they could be buried here near Fort Dobbs. So here's the old marker for the site of Fort Dobbs. Governor Arthur Dobbs had the fort built right over there. Area of Fort Dobbs, 1775. And then this is a rendering. It was built for the French and Indian War, and it was the southernmost French and Indian War fort. There goes a lady right there using the yoke. Very cool. Would you say you can go into Log House? We're gonna go into Log House. Cool stuff. There's the old marker. Right in.
Oh my God, it's weird. Fire in the hole.
There's the model of it.
Art.
Yep, that's actually that's a computer graphic on the wall of what it'll look like when it's done. Yep. And this is from an artist rendering. We're not sure if it's actually the real thing or not, but from the descriptions, this is what it should look like. So there's some of the stuff recovered from here. Pretty cool.
Mom.
Yeah. Good job. You want to get in there, Malachi? Cheese. Cheese. Perfect. Watch the ropes. Okay. So all the stuff we just saw in there, you guys, do you realize that relates to your ancestor, John Stewart? James Stewart, John Stewart, his kids, their family, they wouldn't be here without Fort Dobbs. And so you saw the guy shooting the gun and carrying the powder and all of the cartridges and stuff. Can you imagine your ancestor doing that and chasing the Cherokee party that killed all of the pioneers, the kid, you know, at the Morrison Farm? He did. And can you imagine him making his own shot and putting it in his shot box or whatever it was? Cartridge box. And can you imagine him staying in a tent for days and days and days? Do you know when he fought against the French and Indian War, he stayed in a tent for 3 months? And when he fought in the Revolution, he stayed in a tent 3 months, like 4 different times. So a whole year worth of time he spent in tents, huh?
He didn't get out at all.
Well, I mean, he built his tent and then he'd go find the bad guys and fight them, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So they chased down the Cherokees that time, who raided the pioneers and killed a bunch of them. And then he, you know, went with all the fights for the Revolution so that we have freedom in America. He did that over and over and over again. And so what you just saw is a lot of the way he lived back then and his family lived. It's really cool.